If you want to be rich, if you want to make a lot of money by the end of 2021, but even more getting into 2022, now may be the right time to make your money at work. All right, because the very definition of getting wealthy is to make money while you sleep, and how to use that by putting your money into the stock market. And when you look at where the major indexes are sitting now, it's pretty a bargain. It's a pretty good bargain to actually consider getting into the market now. All right, and in this video I want to go over exactly what are the indicators, the recent one that we saw today, and what Jerome Powell, as the Federal Reserve chair, said that actually is supporting the fact that inflation may be a little bit overseen. People might give a little bit too much negative pressure to inflation. All right, so first of all, today, markets just got spooked again. I mean, this is 1,000 points turnover, literally 1,000 points U-turn from the S&P, the Dow Jones, just because the first case of Omicron was detected in California, San Francisco. But the thing is, what the media is not also pushing forward, all right? Everybody's talking about how Omicron is going to be dangerous, how we're going to go back to 2020, how is the end of the world pretty much, but nobody is talking about this data. The data is actually showing that the boosters work against Omicron, all right? The vaccines, this is from the Israeli health minister. Health Ministry clarifies only 2 Omicron cases so far confirmed in Israel. So they have about 2 times the amount of cases as of today that the US do, all right? But they are not freaking out. They are not freaking out. The first signs that vaccine protects against Omicron. Health Minister, all right? This is the Israeli Health Minister. Again, another media outlet, all right? Not only that the vaccines are effective against this Omicron variant, but also the boosters as well. I know what's going on with my internet, but the point here is, guys, this might be a little bit overdone, all right? This might be very well a little bit overdone because, first of all, the American economy is stronger than it was when in 2020 this whole thing started, all right? So in between then and now, we already have, 2-3 variants, so we are better at mitigating those risks, especially with how advanced we have the boosters, the vaccines, and the cures. Merck pill is around the corner, it's right around the corner. Regeneron is another one. Pfizer even has another one. So that's why I believe this is a little bit too much, right? Now, when you come to what the economy is showing, this is the data. This is not me speaking. This is actually what the data is telling us. Fed saying that inflation is persisting. That's why they announced that they're going to remove the stimulus money in the economy a little bit earlier than they anticipated. But that is not new news. But the strong demand allowing firms to hike prices, meaning people are still willing to buy stuff. People are still willing to travel. People are still willing to, go out. People are still willing to buy goods and services. And the fact that the prices are going up, it doesn't stop. It doesn't seem to stop them from still buying. And that's why, remember, two-thirds of the American growth is based on US domestic consumption. All right, so that's a good thing. Second of all, if you jump into this indicator, the US economy is gaining steam as the manufacturing forges ahead. Shortages are still a little bit of constraint, especially with this new Omicron thing popping. But again, until we have time to actually digest the information and see if it's going to be a little bit more infectious than the Delta variant across the board nationally, then it is still very early to say and to panic. But the good news is the manufacturing services, all right? So companies, factories that are producing goods and services, they need materials, all right? So they get them overseas, or they produce them. So this is picking up in November, meaning that the supply chain issues, which is really at the core root of inflation, it's getting better and better. And personally, I believe it's going to continue to be better as we get into 2022. All right. So based on that, I do see markets continuing to go further up based on where we are. I mean, if you consider where the Dow Jones was sitting back in the highs, all right, earlier this month, we are now looking at what, 5.63%. But if you look point per point, this is 6.6%. And corrections happen between 5 to 10%. All right. So we might be right there in that correction and looking to get out. Same thing with the NASDAQ. Might be a little bit different though, because the NASDAQ kept moving and moving. So it's 2.5%. But if you look at the S&P 500, which is usually used as the main benchmark, last month, we're still looking at what, from the highs? 4%. So I will consider putting your money at work in these current market conditions, because if we want to follow Warren Buffett, who said, be greedy when there is fear on the street, when everything is red, when there is panic, as there is currently now in the market, at least for the last 4 or 5 days, it's actually time to buy. Why? Because you're going to reap all the benefit of this going back up. Initially and historically, December has been a very strong month for the stock market. So even if you don't see that whole recovery coming in this month, at least you still have January or February for the whole year to start, so that we can have enough time for this whole thing to go away, to fade away. So where will you put your money? Pretty much everywhere, all right? So ETFs will be another way to actually play this. If you don't want to buy individual stocks because they may be too volatile, or you don't have enough buying capacity or investing power, you can just buy, the jets. That's going to be the airlines. You also can buy, into energy, which I believe is going to be one of the main sector that's going to benefit a lot from inflation, and especially rising rates coming when the Fed decides to actually start doing that next year. Also, you can do, consumer discretionary, the financials. I mean, pretty much everywhere you will put your money now, maybe except technology, could be a very good bargain. So there's going to be another dedicated video into that, specifically into which ETF or which stocks should you buy as we get out of this short correction.